solid EMF remediation. This little sticker on my phone turns your phone from killing you into healing you. This phone is the destroyer of most people's health. It's the hidden destroyer of health. And it is proven fact. I've been using these remediation stickers for 26 years. It's not brand new, but there's a lot of new science about it. And a lot of the companies that have big budgets that market them, that you see circling, don't work. So they're $50. Your phone is $1,000. Every phone, every tablet, every device you have needs a remediation sticker on it so that you can have a biofield, so that you can start healing. So if you have a small budget, start with one sticker on your phone, keep it with you at all times. I have people with the sticker on their phone, put it on top of their head and take 5 to 10 breaths every day. This sticker turns when it's on.
Hi, I'm Julie E. And if you are looking to get healthier or to feel better, whether you know what your condition is or so far it's undiagnosed, I can help you on your path to recovery and to health. So give me a call or book an appointment on my website. I am very happy to help you find your road to recovery. Have a healthy day.
But I just know that Julie has been very, very spot on. She's able to tell what my body needs in terms of whether detoxing or putting in nutrition of certain kind. She's been very accurate.
I think that she's so different than other practitioners because everybody else wants to put people on medication, and I personally, at my age, am on no prescription medication.
It's rare that you come across somebody who knows so much about nutrition, supplementation, and alternative health modalities. So I'm a big fan, and I really highly recommend her to anybody.
Turned me on to so many healthy foods and brands that I wouldn't have even known about if it weren't for her. And they're so good, and now I will never eat anything besides these foods. And yeah, thank you, Julie.
Are you ready to unlock a new paradigm of health and longevity? Are you tired of confusing, restrictive health advice? Do you want the real secrets to optimal health and radical cellular rejuvenation? Then it's time to meet Julie E.
Hi, I'm Julie E. and I've reversed my telomeres to that of a 12-year-old twice.
Julie E. is not your average nutritionist. She is a root cause clinical practitioner and a true pioneer in functional medicine. Her commitment to holistic health is so profound, she's raised her child without a single doctor's visit, 0 traditional medicines, and never a broken bone. That is living proof. But her expertise doesn't stop with diet. Julie is also a leading voice in EMF remediation and bioresonance. Imagine a life where optimal health is your natural state. Julie has dedicated her life to mastering the most advanced techniques, from cellular detoxification to ancient mud therapy. And now, she's taking this vast, hard-earned knowledge directly to you. Don't miss the opportunity to hear her groundbreaking wisdom. Catch her sharing her revolutionary wisdom on top podcasts and major interviews across the globe. See her captivating audiences live at major conferences. She doesn't just speak it, she is the living, breathing, cellular embodiment of her work. She is here to make true health accessible for everyone. Tune in, listen, and follow Julie E. Health today.
Have a healthy day.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Today we are exploring the frontier of holistic medicine with a practitioner who has spent 25 years redefining comprehensive care. Julie E. is the founder of Julie E. Health, a practice built on the principle that the body is a dynamic system influenced by daily stressors, toxins, and environment. Unlike traditional models, Julie utilizes specialized, non-invasive diagnostic tools to detect system weaknesses in real time, allowing for rapid, personalized intervention. Her diverse clientele ranges from expectant mothers to elite professional athletes, proving that her healing modalities, including laser therapy and energy work, are as versatile as they are powerful. She joins us today to share her secrets for achieving total bodily harmony. It is an honor to introduce Julie.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in just a second. There's a few people that messaged that said they're on their way. I hope everyone's having a healthy New Year time period, healthy holidays, moving into the New Year's. Thank you for joining. Thank you to my team for the lovely montage, the opening. And we'll just give it just another moment or two, and then I will dive in. We're going to be talking about the O-ring. We're going to be talking about nervous system resetting, tapping and swiping, all the missing pieces that most practitioners and medical people are missing. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Julie E., and thank you so much for joining me. I started my career in high school in fitness and then got into nutrition and public health and back to fitness, forward to functional medicine and energy medicine and QRA and all kinds of things now. So I'm in my 40th year of practicing holistic health and helping people get well. And so we've put this webinar together today to be sure that we can share a lot of the missing things that you can use in your practice if you're a massage therapist, a holistic healer, somebody looking to help other people. If you know anything about energy testing, then this is the right place for you. We are going to touch a little bit on a bunch of what you can do to help people heal and why people are not getting well, even though their lab test shows that there's nothing wrong or their doctors can't find anything wrong with them. And then we'll talk a little bit at the end about doing a deep dive on all of those topics. So again, welcome. Thank you so much. And let's just start with what I call a nervous system reset. In your body, it's like a computer, and in the computer, when the operating system crashes or doesn't work, then the rest of your body can't work. So in your body, the nervous system is to your body what the operating system is to a computer. So let's go ahead and reboot our operating system. So we'll do this together as like a way to drop into a place where we can learn. So you're going to take your hands and you're either going to squeeze on those two occipitals. They're the little bumps at the base of your head. Start by doing more like that claw. You've seen the claw that goes on the head. So just scratch the back of so start with the claw and then get into scratching. And then you can even rub, kind of like you're getting your hair washed. And while you're doing this, you're breathing out purposefully. You can close your eyes. We're going to do it for about 2 minutes. Big exhale, like you're breathing out stress, tension, toxicity, other people's energy, anything that doesn't serve my highest good, anything that's old, anything that's fearful, stressful, whatever no longer serves me, clearing it out. And then go towards the center, just below the base of the skull. That's where the vagus nerve starts. So go ahead and massage, scratch, itch that whole area. We're breathing out. I should hear you breathing more than I hear myself. I can't talk as much as I'm talking so much that I can't breathe out as much as I need to. So a few more breaths. God, that feels so good. Who doesn't need a head or scalp massage every so often? And then just relax your arms and just keep breathing out. Breathe out like a dragon, like a fire breath. And then after you do a couple of those, when you feel more relaxed, then you can drop in and just have a more quiet, calm, peaceful breath. And what you're going to start to notice over the next minute or so is that you feel lighter, you feel more clear.
more calm, and then eventually you'll be able to focus more. And so the nervous system reset that we just did is something that I invented, created, whatever word you want to use. I've been in practice for so long at helping people get healthy that I have just created things. They just show up. I say, hey, try this, and I watch what happens to people. And that's really just a result of a multifaceted approach to the body and to helping people. So sometimes when I'm doing energy testing on people with the O-ring, I figure new things out, and I don't even remember how these things came about, but the nervous system reset. There's someone here in person with me. How do you feel? She just got relieved and relaxed. Should see her eyes just kind of glossed over. So this is just one of the little tools I'll be, looking forward to teaching some people. So let's go back to an introduction for this talk, which is what other practitioners miss. I've often been referred to as the missing links girl, or the missing pieces. We have so many different ways to learn, like people do Reiki or to heal. There's Reiki, there's massage, there's functional medicine. And I have a lot of these trainings, and so I know a lot of practitioners that I've met over the last 40 years. And a lot of times they just didn't hit the nail on the head. They haven't figured it out. They haven't healed people. Some of those people have come to my practice, and they're like, there's two specific people I can think of right now that had their arms crossed, and they're like, I went to 10 other functional medicine doctors and nothing worked. What do you do that's different? And the answer is a lot. It's not just one little thing. Like, there are usually missing pieces that most functional medicine doctors or holistic or energy healers, shamans, whoever you work with, they're usually missing a few pieces. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those today. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more. We're going to talk about the O-ring, a little bit about lab testing, and then a few other things. So to just introduce myself again, my name is Julie E. I have a master's in public health from the #2 school tied with Harvard. I have an undergraduate degree in exercise physiology, and then that was part of my master's degree. That was my minor. And then an undergraduate degree in communications and business. And I started working at a gym when I was 16. I started reading every magazine. I devoured the 2 or 3 that there were about health and fitness. And I just started figuring things out. I was reading food labels 4 years before the food label became popular. And so over the course of time, usually what I'm doing is about 12 years ahead of current trends. Like right now, you hear a lot about light therapy, and there's all these places you can go to get light, whether it's for your face or your body, and people are always asking me about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've had my first laser, my first light therapy for 13 years now. So there's the 12-year thing. So in addition to a master's in public health, I'm also a registered dietitian. And that wasn't enough because they said that the food pyramid includes potato chips and French fries. And I never stood for that. So I started learning about vitamins, and I ended up spending the next 23 years working in functional medicine, studying functional medicine and working in functional medicine. And then I moved to California somewhere in there, and I got into like crystals and energy medicine and Reiki and all those things. And then I became a master of QRA, which we're going to talk about a little bit. And so in any event, fast forward, I got married and I had a child. He is now about to be 21. He's never been to a medical doctor. He's never had a pharmaceutical on or in his body. He also never missed a day of school for illness in his entire 20 and a half years so far. He never had an injury, no broken bones. He really was just raised on health. And there were moments of like, uh-oh, is this okay? We didn't take the wisdom teeth out. We didn't do anything that I did and that, my generation did, because we learned that you don't need all that stuff. Some of times you're just being pressured because of fear. And I raised him on health and being calm and grounded. And so during that time, when he was probably about 12 years old, 13 years old himself, we learned about the telomeres, which is the tip of your cell, the tip of your DNA in your cell. And this became known, the presence or degradation of your telomere became used as what your cellular age was. So the first time I did the test, I was 18. That's what my cellular age said. I was 18, but I was really in my late 30s. And then I ran the test 2 more times and I had the telomeres of a 12-year-old. So I think that what I hear from people that I've been working with across this entire world, and definitely here in California and before when I was in New York, what people really want is they want healthy kids and they want the fountain of youth for themselves. And so when I talk to you about some of the things that I do and that I teach, like this silly little nervous system reset, they all work because I figured out I already achieved what most people are striving for. And you can study under, Gary Brecka's and the Dave Asprey's of the world, and I'm sure they'll bring a lot of things to fruition, but the truth is they have not accomplished either of those two feats that I have. So, I tell you about that not to brag, but more to be like, I think I know what I'm talking about when I teach you some weird things and I suggest that soaking your feet in ocean salts or tapping your lung is going to help you heal. It's because I know a few things. So, I have in my clinic, I've had a clinic in Los Angeles for the past 27 years. And in my clinic, I have a 99% success rate of healing people all the way. 1% of people drop out. And sometimes it's because they weren't really ready to get healthy. Other times it's because fear comes up and they feel pressure to do the medical thing. Like if they came to me when they were just diagnosed with a health condition or an illness, the medical system presses pretty hard. So those are usually the only two reasons why people leave here and they haven't been successful. But really across the board, everyone I work with heals and improves and learns how to heal themselves. I get text messages like, "Hey, hi Julie, everyone in my family, everyone around me is sick, and I feel great, and I was able to, never get sick while 10 other people did, and this is what I did." And they list off 5 or 15 things that they did. And I know, hallelujah, they listened and learned. And so this is what I teach. I teach to my clients, and I also am teaching to practitioners now. That is part of my next chapter. So, if there was a life or death situation, I would absolutely want a medical doctor and medicine if something happened and it was an emergency. But I don't choose that on a regular basis because the medical system is an illness system. I choose health and wellness. And so I'm often quoted as saying, you'll pay for wellness now or illness later. Take your pick. Time and money to me are the same thing. So you can put time or money into wellness now, or you can wait until you have a health problem and then you're going to put time and money into the illness. And it's usually more stressful then. So I recommend wellness now. So we did the nervous system reset. I want to recommend that you do that every day, 3 times a day if you need to, if you're stressed or you're in the middle of a stressful situation. Just do that. Take a few deep breaths. Usually you have enough time to do that 2 or 3 times a day easily. I want to go into the topic that we were promoting this webinar as, which is what other practitioners miss. And I've already said a lot of the things, but one point I just want to make is in this past year, there are 5 holistic doctors that I know of that are now dead. And, they were out there, they had marketing and they had social media, and then they were gone, or a couple of them were gone quickly, a couple of them had an illness, and then they, passed on. And so when I talk to you about the missing pieces, I want you to see the difference. I want you to think about what were these 5 people not doing? And those are the things that I'm going to recommend. And those are the things that I use every day. And we already did one of them. And all of the things, not all, yeah, really all of the things that I do and that I teach are simple. And they're so simple that they often get overlooked. This nervous system reset, people come here and they're like, oh, I've been so anxious lately. And I'm like, did you do that? Oh, I forgot. Like, we're such a pill popping society, and we're brainwashed into thinking that health is hard to achieve, so that everyone overlooks the easy little things. A couple of hours ago, I went to the beach. It's been pouring for days, and the sun came out. And the first thing I did was go to the beach to put my feet on the ground and just sit and breathe and get the air from the ocean, which all of that heals your cells heals your body on a cellular level. So these little things that really make a big difference in one's health and how they feel and their vitality are super important. So that's why my taglines are simple health solutions, limitless healing, and infinite possibilities. And so as I go into a few of these next topics, I want you to really remember, like, it's so easy. If you just did these easy things, and a lot of them are free, you can be much healthier and happier than you might be on a regular basis. So I mentioned the the earthing topic, the topic of being on the ground, and sometimes we soak in ocean salt. I'm going to just share this little picture here. This is on the website. You can download this for free. This is what someone's cells look like on a regular basis, and this is what their cells look like after being on the earth or after eating oil. It's red and yellow. It's hot, inflammation, and pain. And after being on the earth for 15 minutes, it's green, cool, and soothing. This is science. This is a fact that when you are physically on the earth without a rubber sole, so you could wear a sock, you could be on a blanket, you're standing on the beach, your feet are in the ocean, or you are on the dirt or the grass, you're getting healing energy to your cells. And your whole body is made up of cells. And if your cells don't work correctly, havoc happens then. Your mitochondria can't work, you can't absorb nutrients or get rid of toxins. So the cell is the goal. That's why people take vitamins, to get them into the cell. You might be thinking about your gut or your brain, but it's really about the cells in your gut or brain. So this simple act of standing on the earth will heal you. Now, if you have public grass, it may not be healing you because it might have Roundup or GMOs on it or other toxic pollutants. So now you're absorbing that, which is making your body have to work harder. So there's all these caveats these days in the world. And that brings us to why it is so important to make sure your detox system is working correctly all of the time. When your car starts to act a little wonky, you're thinking, oh gosh, I hope it's not expensive. You get your $30 oil change and suddenly the car works better. In your body, you have 11 components to your oil change of you. And so all of them have to work correctly and they have to be working. The flow has to be happening through there in order for your body to work well. And so if you're soaking in the real ocean, hopefully there's always more benefits than there are toxins. But here in Los Angeles, the water's pretty toxic. You know about the fires, the smog, the pollution, the chemtrails. It all lands in the ocean. But when you go, so you might get a little bit of pollutants, but when you go in the ocean, you also get the earthing, and your cells and your cell wall are going to look better and be stronger. So there's always the pros and the cons. And that is why we need our entire detox system, which I nickname the assembly line. We need that to work constantly and constantly and constantly so you can flush out toxins. So we have the cell wall, we have all the detox organs and glands, and we also need to remediate EMF. A lot of these people that come to me and they're like, they've been to 10 other functional medicine doctors and they're like, what are you going to do? I'm like, first thing I ask, did anyone put a sticker on your phone? And they're usually like, what are you talking about? What sticker? And so I already know that I can help them because your phone is the number one health destroyer. And if you don't have this simple little sticker on the back of your phone, which you almost can't even tell is there, then you put your case on and you don't really see it. And you definitely don't feel it. If you don't do that, every time you come within like 2 feet or 5 inches of your phone, 2 feet is too far away. maybe for your computer, but when you come within a couple of inches of your phone, the phone is instantly weakening your body. It's pulling nutrients, electrolytes, and minerals out of your cells, and therefore making your body have to work harder, making you deficient, even though you're taking some of those nutrients in. You need more, you need mega doses. And in our society, people don't usually think about mega doses. People are like, oh, I took vitamin C when I got an injury. And I say, well, how much? And they're like, 500 milligrams, but I took it twice a day. I'm like, well, in order to heal that ankle sprain, you probably need 50,000 units a day. And you took 1,000. So that's why you didn't heal well. So the reason is that our devices are pulling electrolytes and minerals out of our body. They're weakening your kidney. Now you're a little klutzy or clumsy. You're more prone to falling, and you're not getting in anywhere near as many nutrients into your body as you actually need to function in today's world with devices. Most devices, like I'm in the clinic right now, and there's two of us here, and I want to say there's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 10 devices, and there's just two people here. So what does every average house have, right? And then there's like Wi-Fi, and then there's towers outside. So all that stuff is depleting you, and this is one of the missing pieces continuously. And I can tell you that a couple of those doctors that passed away this year, specifically, I know for a fact, based on conversations I had with them, they did not have EMF remediation on their devices. They either didn't believe it or they didn't think there was such a thing. They know about EMF, but one of them wasn't worried about it. One of them didn't think that any device could actually change it. But when you put the sticker on the phone actually becomes a healing tool. Like you can actually put it on your body and it's charging you while you're using it. Whereas the opposite is it's depleting you, and that's causing some of your health problems. So, when people think they're doing everything, but they're not. And those are the things that we're talking about today, the things they're not doing. Last weekend, I was somewhere at a healing center, and I was talking to a guy, and he said, this is the only thing that works for me. I've tried everything else. And that's like the best quote for someone to say to me, because I said, no, you haven't. And he said, oh, yeah, what do you do? And I said, we put stickers on our devices, we do mud therapy, and we use the O-ring to figure out your interference fields. And he was like, I've never done any of that before. And so my answer was, so you haven't tried everything. So these are the things that are the missing pieces and that help people the most. I want to introduce to you the O-ring right now. The O-ring is exactly like it sounds. It's the letter O. So it's a perfect O. I can't have my wrist bent here. It has to be a neutral wrist. So picture my arm in front of me, but with the O. So elbow at my side, and then it's pad to pad. It's pad to pad. This doesn't count. This doesn't count. This doesn't count. It has to really be a perfect O. Ladies, you have to organize your fingernails. So one fingernail is in the palm or in the pad of the other one. So that's a perfect O, right? You can see it now. It's a perfect O. The O-ring has been published in 55 medical journals. That means that it is medically accepted. It's not in the top 2 journals that most doctors study under, so they've never heard of it. But the O-ring is published medically. So it is medically accepted. This is what I use all day, every day in my clinic to diagnose, treat, and help people heal. And so we use the O-ring we do it for many, many, many things, but we use it in the same way. One person, so the patient holds their fingers like this down at their side, and then I put my hands on their hand and I squeeze the bottom like a pliers. Like I don't rip these fingers apart. I squeeze the bottom to see if the fingers will fly apart. While I'm doing that with their hand out here, they're touching their body in different places. And the places that have no energy is where the fingers fly apart. Where there's no energy, there's infection, there's toxicity, there's something going on that's the opposite of health. And It will not show up on a Western medical lab test because it's not a full-blown disease or a condition. So we find things with the O-ring before the medical system can find them. And that's one of the reasons why it's so profound, because it's instant, it's non-invasive, it's basically free, and we can do 200 or 300 tests in an hour. We can test every millimeter of someone's body. And they can, most people go to the medical doctor, they get their blood, and they're like, this is high and this is low, but the doctor said I'm fine and they sent me home. And if the person was overweight, the doctor's like, and they said they had hip pain, the doctor's like, lose weight, it'll help, right? This is our current medical system. But what the problem really is, maybe that person, their kidney isn't working or their liver isn't working. And we know this by, they make the circle, they touch, just for lack of changing my camera, they touch a spot on their head, there's energy. They touch this spot, it buckles a little bit, and then they touch this spot and the fingers fly all the way apart. So we can see variations in energy. Where there's no energy, we can do things like tapping and swiping. We can use our laser. We can so I can put the light therapy on it. You can't really see it. We can take internal nutrients. We could do a lot of different things to help heal that and strengthen that part of the body. So basically, we're curing something before it is even known or diagnosed. And that is profound and important and thorough when we do the O-ring. Your medical doctor doesn't want to run certain tests because they're like, oh, it's not covered by insurance, or they'll get in trouble if they run extra tests and charge it to your insurance. But when we do the O-ring testing, we could test everything on your body. So we could test by touching. We can also test by asking. Like I could ask if I basically could ask if I'm allergic to tomatoes or if I'm having a sensitivity to tomatoes. I could say, my body loves tomatoes. And then someone has their hand on here and my fingers either stay together or they come apart. And I instantly know if I should not eat tomatoes or if I can. We can ask questions like, I have a traffic jam in my right shoulder, or is it and I can like diagnose, we can ask questions, yes, no questions, till we get down to isolating the actual problem. Like if someone comes in with the shoulder hurting them, we could figure out if it's coming from a tooth, coming from a finger, a wrist, an elbow, or a scar somewhere else on the body. So we can use the O-ring to do all of these things. You can self-test. It's not usually recommended. When I was taught testing, I was taught self-testing doesn't work, is what they said. And I spent hours schlepping my kid back and forth to the clinic, to home, if he had a sniffle or something, so we can test him and put him on the precise custom nutrition for his today body. And that is how he didn't ever miss a day of school or get sick, because when something was off, if his skin was white or dry or he didn't poop, we did the testing on him. We found out exactly what was off. And then when we put stuff in your hands, your pockets, or in your field next to you, and we go back to that same spot, if like garlic, if this spot is weak, and then we put garlic next to me and this spot is strong, that means that garlic is going to heal this area. That means garlic's an antibacterial. That means there's a bacteria. If I put garlic and it doesn't and it still tests weak, then it's not a bacteria. If I put green juice and it tests strong, well, I was probably deficient in some kind of nutrients that I needed, and the green juice had it in it. So we can really get down to figuring out exactly what's going on in the body. So let's say we strengthen this with garlic, and now all the places on my head test strong. Then we can take what's called our QC vial. It's a quantum coherence integrator. We could put it on top of the head, or with the current version of the EMF sticker, the Q-disc, we could put that on our head. And in about 15 seconds, after I take a few deep breaths, every part of my body will test strong. So now the head will test strong. But a minute ago, it was weak, right? So if I tap on the head and now the circle goes weak, that means that there's a deeper problem here. And that's when I usually think there's infection, or probably hit my head when I was younger. And on presentation, it looks fine. But when I get a little stressed, the tap is a synonym for stress, that's when it goes weak. If I tap it and the O-ring stays strong, then the problem with this spot and why it was weak at the beginning is not coming from my head. So then I can go to dental work, right? So I have had one dental work done ever right here. So we could stay here. This is strong to the O-ring. And when we tap on this tooth, if this goes weak, then I know that the cause of this head pain or headaches or whatever I'm getting over here, or this just lack of energy, is coming from my tooth. And that means it's the dental materials, the heavy metals, if they injected into my gums over here, if my gums are have toxins in it, it can be I also could bang because I played volleyball when I was little, I could have banged my jaw a few times. So let's say that the teeth did not reflex to this part. The next option is go to other scars, traumas, tattoos, piercings, and tap them one at a time until this spot goes weak. And that's how we hunt to find the interference field or the root of the health problem. And I can tell you that all of these doctors and holistic health coaches and experts that have 300 and 500,000 followers, and then suddenly you hear about them dying, or I think there was a colon therapist girl. She was a health coach in gut health was her area of expertise. And then I ran across her page and she was getting surgery on her colon. Like, that's not normal. Like, this is to me, that's unacceptable. I know I honor everyone where they're at, and we all have our stories and our paths. But if you are a health coach for the gut, you have to learn every single thing there is and heal your gut. But this person didn't realize that she probably had a scar somewhere reflecting to her gut. And so these are the missing pieces, and that's what I'm talking about continuously. I have this client who was part of my health club for 4 years. She hesitated. It took her a minute to get into it because she doesn't like to spend money. And finally, she got into the rhythm. She was coming once a month. And she said, Julie, I've learned everything over the last 5 years. I'm going to cancel my membership. And I said at the time it was kind of silly. She should just stay a little bit in the membership, come once or twice a year instead of every month. And she was like, nope, I've learned everything. And then she had a fall at a wedding and she was wearing heels. And this person is 80 years old. And she said she ended up coming back, joining the health club. She did 3 90-minute sessions like in a row, very short periods of time in between. And she said, I am much better with you and your help. I don't know what you do to me, but you keep me in alignment, and I'm in my 80s and I just always want to stay healthy. So I'm going to keep coming back to you. Well, the real problem was that right after she quit the health club or left, because she felt like she learned, because I teach people everything that they need to know about health, just like I'm teaching you now. And what happened was she fell. And now she had a trauma to her tailbone, to her sacrum, and it rippled down her body and caused numerous other problems. And that's why, even though she was doing the nutrients, she was using her laser, she was soaking in the ocean salts. Sometimes she wasn't very good at that, but that's why she didn't nail it for her health, because she had a new trauma that really she fell and hit 3 places in her body hard. And so every new trauma, injury, dental work, scar, biopsy, those are the cause of all of your current health ailments. And it's really important to be able to use the O-ring and diagnose those so you can know exactly what's going on in your body or someone else's if you're a practitioner and you're going to plan to help others. Last week, I want to give you another example. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I had 3 different clients that were members of my health club. They really work on their health regularly, and they all had health emergencies. And the cause of all 3 of their health emergencies is because they did what their doctor suggested. And so I don't know if I need to explain anything more beyond those words, but your doctors work in illness. They don't work in health. Like, If you take their pharmaceutical because they scare the heck out of you about something, then it doesn't mean it's going to work. Medical mistakes are in the top 3 causes of death in the United States. So just because your doctor says something doesn't mean you should run and do it. So I just wanted to drive that message home again. If your doctor reversed his age by 30 years, maybe he knows a few things and I might trust him, but ask your doctor what he ate for breakfast, lunch, how he sleeps, and then you can decide if you want to do what your doctor says. We're moving into this new age where most people are focused on their health. I think COVID put a big scare into people one way or another, whether you gave in and walked into Hitler's gas chamber, meaning the arm thing, or you avoided it. Everyone was under the pressure about their health, and therefore we are in this time period where people care about their health and they want to do something about it. And the O-ring and the work that I do and that I teach is so empowering, and it works every single time and every single person improves. Does anyone have any questions? I don't see any in the chat. I know we said if you have any questions to put them in the chat. So if there's no questions, I just want to go into a program that I created to help more people. I can only see so many people a day, and I know my phone rings, the emails, the texts, like there's more people that need me than I can handle or serve. And so at this time in my career, 27 years of having a successful and still growing clinic, and 40 years at knowing so much about the body and practical experience with people, I have decided to create a 6-month program to teach people all the things I've learned over the past 40 years. And let me tell you, I didn't learn this from one source. I learned it from like 20 to 40 different sources, and through trials and tribulations and highs and lows and out of necessity. And I figured a lot of it out by myself. And it really took about 35 to 40 years to learn all this stuff. And I probably spent well over $50,000 growing my career and learning and transforming people and all that I do now. And so I have put this into a 6-month program that I am really have my heart into, that I really want to teach 7 people how to do what I do so that you can go out and help other people and we can exponentially heal the planet. So you can see I get choked up about it. Like, this really means a lot to me. I really want to find a small group of people that I can train together that are all on the same level of understanding. The O-ring, QRA. It's really, this program is not just about the O-ring and QRA. QRA stands for quantum reflex analysis. So how I was saying that the tooth reflexes to the head. Most practitioners on this planet do not know to even consider looking for that. And I find that practitioners that understand QRA are the best on this planet. And as good as they are, QRA is not everything. If QRA was everything, I would not have lived in a moldy house for 15 years, which was like slowly declining my own health. I was watching all my clients improve and I was degrading. And so QRA was keeping me on a high dose of nutrients, but in the end, it was a lab test that told me that I had mold exposure. And it was treating myself on a program and running the lab test again quickly that made me realize I was still living in mold. And so many people that come to see me don't want to run a lab test. They're like, well, you could test everything. I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I can't test you for 200 markers in 5 seconds. And I don't see you often enough to do all the things you want to do during your 60-minute session and test you for another 200 markers. So lab tests become super important. And I found out that my cells were working terribly and that I had mold poisoning, basically, from a urine test. First urine in the morning. It took me about 3 seconds. I sent it to the lab. I had 18 elevated markers. Prior to this, I had ran 7 different lab tests. I've been to 21 different practitioners, and no one could figure it out. And in the end, the lab test right there, when I had 18 elevated markers, all the other tests I had like one thing out of range and it was minimal. 18 elevated markers said it. I instantly got on a program to treat for mold. In 3 months, I felt phenomenal and I reran the test. And then I had 19 elevated markers. And that was the problem. That was how I basically moved out almost overnight. I found a furnished place and I got out of there. And part of why I'm sharing this to you is because most clients don't want to run a lab test, let alone run two within 3 months. But when it comes down to it, it's like the saying is whatever it takes to be healthy. And so as amazing as using O-ring and QRA are to diagnose and help treat and figure out everything, it's not the only answer. And that's part of what we're going to go over in this program. It's a 6-month program called my mentorship program, or the Julie E. Health Mentorship Program. I'm hopeful and eager to find 7 practitioners or people that want to just learn all of this information, maybe for themselves or to help their family. And it's going to include everything that I've said so far. And the other thing that it will also include is emotional and subconscious healing. And we don't have to do talk therapy to figure it all out. Again, we just use the O-ring and we can ask people questions. And it's like your body has a built-in lie detector test. So if we ask you to say, now I am healthy, and your fingers come apart or your O-ring doesn't stay together, then I already know that your subconscious doesn't believe you can be healthy. And so no matter what work I give you, supplements, vitamins, stretching, whatever, you're not going to do it because your subconscious doesn't believe that you can be healthy or that you deserve to be healthy. So we also do some healing techniques to flip that switch. So now your body is in healing autopilot on your subconscious. And that's another one of the reasons why I'm so successful, because if this same person went to another functional medicine doctor or holistic or energy, even if they gave them a sticker for their phone and it worked, if they don't address the subconscious piece, then people don't heal. And the subconscious piece comes on strong often and out of nowhere. So people will be healing and healing and healing, and they're like 3 or 4 months into their healing, and then they're like, holy shit, everything came back. And as soon as they're like, I was doing so well. And as soon as they say that, I already know it's subconscious. But if they don't have an appointment scheduled and they don't come back, I've lost them. So it's really my job, because they'll get into this whole negative spin. I've spent so much money. I did lab tests. I went, for 6 appointments. Everything was great and it all came back. I am hopeless. No one can help me. It doesn't work. And then they won't come back. And then it's actually worse than before when they started healing. And that is, why I have to plan ahead to help make sure people are doing the homework before I get in deeper to healing them. And these are some of the points that I'll be teaching in this mentorship class: how to do that, what to do, how easy it is, how to work with people. I've been working with people one-on-one and in groups and lecturing for the last 30 plus years. And I started off teaching fitness classes with 30 to 50 people. I was a teenager and the people were 20 to 30 and 40 years older than me. So I have been guiding people for years, and people listen and people heal. Whether, and some of the, even if you got an education in functional medicine or QRA or energy medicine, they don't teach you about posture or about how people speak and how they walk when they walk in your office, what you can, or your clinic, what you can tell about them. And so these are also things that I'll be teaching to help people look beyond the basics. Like when some guy walked in here and his wife sent him because they got a new family dog and he was allergic to the dog, and they were going to give the dog away, and she's like, you know everything, I know you can help him. And he didn't want to come, but he was sleeping at a hotel because he couldn't sleep at his house. It's so sad. So he came in for a session, and he was like, his neck was like here, he walked in all slouchy, and I was like, your nervous system can't get the signal if your head is not on top of your shoulders, and you're slouching and your digestive system is like weak and mushed together, like you can't even digest your food. So some of it was literally just about holding himself up straight and correcting himself so that the supplements and the lasers and all the other energy pieces worked for him. And he didn't have a sticker on his phone. I guess he got a new phone like a month before, and he had one on his phone prior to that because his wife knows better. But he's walking around for a month, like radiating his head, his balls, everything in his pocket. Like wherever that phone is, you are getting like radiation as if you're in a microwave. And of course, these are also things you have to learn about the way to ask questions to people. As a registered dietitian, of course, food is everything, but it's also only 1% of your health. And so asking, do you use a microwave? What kind of water are you drinking? How fast or slow do you eat? Really working with people on all different aspects of their health is the key to helping people heal. And that's the intention in this mentorship program. And the program is 6 months. We're going to meet in person once a month on a Friday for 2 hours. And I did it this way because I thought a lot of people are practitioners and mostly they could take time off on a Friday afternoon. And that way, the practitioners that live far away can also commute. If they're out of town or whether they fly in, that way you can get here for a Friday afternoon once a month. And then in the middle of the month, we'll also have a Zoom call for another 90 minutes, and that will be where we talk about things like the lab tests, take Q&A, go over some practical things. Whereas when you're here at my clinic in person on the Fridays, we're going to be O-ring testing the entire time, like as much as possible. Everyone that's in the program will get tested at least once, probably more than that. You'll be partnered up with another person, hopefully close to where you live, so you can connect in between and practice. I'll be teaching you how I do the O-ring testing on the phone or on Zoom. We'll learn how to test the environment to make sure that where you sleep and spend most of your time has healing energy. Because again, otherwise it's like as soon as the guy picks up the phone, everything gets weak. If you do all this healing work and then you go into your house and it's got like 3 Wi-Fi things and a ring on the door and an alarm system, like you're not healing when you're in your home, you're getting radiated and fried. So, all the different aspects of how we can use the O-ring for figuring out what to eat off of a menu, figuring out is your environment have enough energy in it, how to do mud therapy, where to do the mud therapy, all of that we're going to be going over in detail. I think I told you earlier that to me, time is money. So I feel that we're going to start exactly on time and, no messing around. Like this is like, I am going to use every second of this course to teach and hope that everybody that's in the course, like, absorbs and expands their knowledge and raises their rate or is able to help everyone suddenly. If you get stumped, a few people have called me and said, I'm like at my maximum. I don't know what to do to help this person. Can you help them? And the truth is that I can help every single person everywhere, regardless of what their health problem is. I can at least help them get to the next level and the level after that and the level after that. Even if I can't take them all the way home, which I usually can, I can get them way healthier, clear a lot of stuff out of the way, and then, some of it sometimes is up to them to do their homework. But if somebody showed up here once a week for the rest of their lives, they would heal. There's a picture, I think, on the website. I have a woman who never did anything on her own. She didn't even really want to take supplements, but when she came, she would do 2-hour sessions. We did it over the course of about 9 months. And she took supplements when she was here. We did laser, we did mud therapy, we used all the other equipment that we had. We cleared stuff out. Sometimes we did a Pilates or stretching workout exercise thing. And there are pictures of her neck from looking like a grapefruit down to like the back of her neck. And even a little bit under here, it went from a grapefruit to like a half of a golf ball. And when she came to see me, she had no energy and they wanted to take out her thyroid. And she did the most minimal that a person can do, which was show up for an appointment. And you can see these pictures, and she changed and healed tremendously, and she has tons of energy. So, um, so this is what can happen, and that is my goal, is to teach people how to do all of that. There is one question somebody put in the chat, like, what should I fix first if my signal is weak? And I think that what that means is in terms of their body, like if their energy is weak. And the first thing you can do that is free is to put your feet barefoot on the earth or stick them in the ocean. You can also do the nervous system reset and move your phone away from you for a little while. Take breaks from it if you don't have a sticker on it. If you live in another country, as some people that are on the webinar do, then maybe you can find some stickers that are not the same one as we have, but you can find something, and in a one-on-one session or in our group class, we could test them and see if they work. The other thing that you can do is tapping and swiping. So let's do that for a little bit. You can do it while you're sitting. You're just going to take your hands on top of your head, take a couple of deep exhales, and bring your fingers all the way around your head, like you're coloring. I'd like it if everyone joins us. If you want to put your camera on and do it, you can. Or you can leave your camera off. Every part of the face. This is another thing, like the nervous system reset, keep breathing out, that I just figured out on my own. I know there is a technique called tapping that they do it differently. They do it on emotional meridians, but this is how we do our organs. So get into the armpit. We'll do the top half of our body while we're all maybe potentially sitting and on our computers. Maybe some of you are stretching while you're doing this, or lying on the ground. That would be nice. You know, I don't believe in wasting time. So usually anytime I'm on a webinar, I am soaking my feet in ocean salts in a bucket. So you make sure you get all the way around the armpits, breathing out. If you're a girl, you go around the girls, over the girls, through the girls, under the girls. If you're a guy, you just go straight down your chest. Then you're going to take your fist and you're going to go around to the back of your body and just hit and breathe out. You can watch all of these on video on my website. There is a free tools and tricks page. There's about 4 different videos of little things like this that you can do. So I'm punching my back, and then just go under the ribs, like under the ribs on the side, like right under the waist on both sides, and then the front and back, and you're breathing out. Hiccup, burp, whatever you need to do. And then just a few more exhales. And just like we did before with the nervous system reset, just breathe out, feel your feet on the ground. We only did half of our body, or 1/3, depending how tall you are. So you can still do the other half of your body, but I just want you to get that this is something you can do and should do every single day. This is another one of those things that gets overlooked. Every single time, 100% of the time, one of my clients says, I don't feel good, and I tell them to do thorough tapping and swiping. 100% of the time do they come back and say, oh my God, I feel so much better. If they say I already did it, I say go back and do it for 20 more minutes. And then they go, wow, I feel so much better. So just keep breathing out. We didn't do swiping. So actually take your hand and swipe down the arm to the fingertips. And you can do each finger by itself. You're breathing out. Before you do the other arm, just pause for a second and feel the difference in the 2 sides. And then you can do the other side. So in this 6-month mentorship program, we're going to be drilling these little things in so that they become second nature and habits. I'm going to be teaching all the other things that we've talked about today. I'm also going to be taking questions. The last couple of class, like there's a schedule, and you can see the schedule of the Friday classes online right now. And there's also, I do have an itinerary, but by week 4 or month 4, I feel I'm not going to plan out month 4 to 6 yet, because I am going to cater it to the group that's here. So I don't want to have like an itinerary and say, if you don't remember or you didn't learn enough from last time, forget it, we're moving on. I want to make sure that everybody masters everything that I'm teaching. So we'll build, once we get through the first 3 classes, we'll have a better idea of how fast or slow everyone is as a learner and grasping all the information. So there's no more questions. That's really everything I wanted to share, just about, except that I am very excited to teach this mentorship program. Some of you are at the beginning of your careers, or you're in your career and you're looking for more of how you can help everybody or help more people or be more specific to diagnose. I'm feeling I'm at the end, like I'm aiming to get out of the clinic. My book is going to come out in a year, and I'm would really like to start helping others and help oversee their education and learning. So this mentorship program is for me just as much as it is for you. Like, I really want to do this, and it's in my heart. It feels like, a big goal of mine is to help people. I want you to all be better than I am at our job. So today, if you sign up today for the mentorship program, it's mentorship.juliehealth.com. And is there a number 4 after that? /4. It looks like it. But if you use the code, all capitals, create my 26, today only, we're giving you another $100 off. I told you I already spent about $50,000 on my education. Actually, if I brought into it my master's in public health, I spent $250,000 on my education. But, anyway, I would happy to teach this to you guys for, I feel the information is priceless, and I feel that we made a price that is doable. You can pay monthly or you can pay all at once. There's add-ons if you want to do sessions one-on-one with me. If you want to buy some of our equipment, you'll be able to do some of the add-ons even after the class starts. But there's already 3 people signed up for the course, the program. I am only taking 7. I would love to see you there. I wouldn't have spent an hour here teaching if I didn't want to get really the authenticity of how this program will be out there. My heart is in it, and I look forward to helping all of you grow your practices and heal yourself. Have a healthy day.